Hi, everyone. My name is Thomas Johnson, and I'm the founder and CEO of GetUpNGetFit, wellness and fitness coaching concierge company. I'm also a C-suite advisor, investor, and you're listening to How May I Serve You, where I'm constantly on the quest to surround myself with the best coaches while learning how to better serve our executive clientele by asking them what they want and need directly. And today's guest is Mark Hinderliter. He's an executive coach with decades of high level leadership experience. His experience as a senior vice president for a global billion-dollar company, along with a PhD in organization and management, is an uncommon fusion of executive experience and academic credentials. So, Mark, welcome, welcome. How you doing today?
I am doing great, Thomas. I am excited to be on this conversation. My only challenge is going to keep it into the time frame, man.
Got you. Yeah. Yeah. So today's conversation, the goal is to keep it within 17 to 20 minutes. Okay. So yes, thanks for coming through, Mark. So
Absolutely.
tell us a little about yourself. Give me like the 2 minute version.
Yeah, I mean, you caught a little bit of it. I call myself a recovering HR executive, Thomas.
Okay.
And what I mean by that, 32 years in the corporate world, in the last 10 as a senior VP, of HR for, like you said, $1 billion global company. And so, I worked at a high level and, a very complex kind of an organization. Um, and after 32 years, I was just ready to pivot to something new. And so it was an easy pivot to me to move to executive coaching because I did a lot of that inside the organization. Leadership development and training and culture work are the other things I do in my practice. Again, all things that I did inside the corporate world. So one of the things about me that I think my executive clients relate to is I've been there. I've been in that chair. So I think it makes it really easy for me to relate to. So really, that's what I'm all about, is trying to help my clients develop their leadership teams, to create companies and cultures that people are really proud to be part of. That's really what I'm trying to do with my clients.
Yeah, and Mark, as a person that knows you pretty well, you are pretty good at this. You are a great person. You're very approachable. You even kill. Unlike me, I'm very energetic. And you love what you do, and you
Yeah,
approach your job with the passion and zeal, which something definitely attracted me to you, right? And you not only are you easily approachable, but your level of honesty is commendable, you know.
yeah,
So
appreciate that.
with that being said, so why did you get into coaching, Mark? And
Yeah,
who do you coach?
Thomas, I had just done the corporate thing long enough, 32 years,
Okay.
and I was ready to do something that that I was really just excited about. And so pivoting to doing executive coaching, leadership training and development, and culture work was just a natural transition for me. It was taking what I already was very good and very experienced at and enjoyed. All parts of HR aren't fun, Thomas, but those are the parts that I really enjoyed. So it was a very natural pivot for me when I was ready to pivot.
Okay, okay. So who do you coach? I mean, I know you coach executives.
Yeah.
Are these your primary clientele, or do you mix it up?
I coach executives and I coach ex, members of executive teams.
Okay.
Like, I'll coach a company president, or a company president will say, "Hey, Mark, I need you to coach one of my leaders." So I'll do that. Or I want you to coach somebody who's a real up and comer, kind of my next level leader. And so those are the folks that I really work with, and leadership teams too,
Hmm.
because individual leadership, developing those skills is really important. But really, what I've learned in business is leadership teams working in harmony are really powerful, and leadership teams that aren't working in harmony are a real drag on the organization.
Yes, I agree with you 100%, Mark. That's something that's important. That top-down approach is so real, right? If the leader is not structured, the leader is not adequate in his or her position, that affects the whole company. And
Uh,
I'm glad you're able to provide this service. And coming from an executive background, because you yourself, you was executive VP of a billion-dollar company. How do you use your experience to connect with your clientele? Because you've been there.
Yeah, yeah. I'll tell you. After I have a kind of a preliminary conversation with a potential client, within about 30 minutes, they get it.
Okay.
That I know what I'm talking about when it comes to leadership and culture and those kind of things, because I really have done that. Kind of a fun thing that's happened to me many times, Thomas, is many times I've had a client ask me, "Hey, have you ever experienced this?" Very different things, and the answer is always, "Yes, I have." So that helps my clients have confidence in me that I'm just not talking like I read the book, right? I've read a lot of books, but I've been there and done that. I've gone through successes with organizations, and I've gone through downturns. So I don't know if I've seen it all, but I've seen a lot of it.
Yes, having that first hand experience is second to none, right?
Yeah, that's right.
You lived it, you've been there, so you could share your experience, which that's something that definitely differentiates you from everyone else, right?
Yeah, I think
Other coaches.
Yeah, I think so. I think the other thing about my experience is I get it that I don't know everything, and so really listening to my client and understanding what their challenges really is the most important thing that I do.
Okay. So, Mark, I know there's so many different types of coaching styles and different types of coaches out there. So, what is your approach to coaching? What's your style, man?
Yeah, some coaches kind of coach from a predetermined program, Thomas. I don't do that. I don't lay programs on people. I meet my clients where they are.
Okay.
And so what I do is just really ask a lot of questions and really listen and find out where they're at and where do they want to get to be. My metaphor is, we're out in the islands and we're on island one, but that's not where we want to be. We want to be on island two, which has a little more paradise.
Okay.
And so my job is to help my clients. What's the reality of island one? What challenges are they facing? And then we create a boat to go to island two. So I don't have a predetermined program. I listen and find out what their challenges are, what their goals and objectives are, and work with them as a thought partner to get to the next island.
I love that, man. So it's more of a customized approach, which
That's
is
exactly right. It is not a plug and play approach.
There you go, man. I definitely believe in that approach. It's not a one size fit all.
Yeah, that's not even true in t-shirts, man.
That's true, because a large out here in the States might be slightly bigger in Europe, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Or smaller in Europe.
Yeah, and it'll be like a tent in Singapore where I used to do business too.
There you go. So Mark, if someone was looking for a coach, right, what traits would you advise them to look for in the coach? Since you've been there, you have both experience. You have been, like I said, you've been the VP of a large organization, and you're currently a coach yourself. So what traits?
Yeah, I mean, it's a great question because I've hired coaches when I was the head of HR for executives. So I actually hired folks, so I knew what I was looking for. Okay. So if I were advising somebody in business what to look for in a coach, I would say, look pretty deeply into that resume. Here's kind of the thing. There are so many coaches out there, Thomas, that have a certification from someplace, but do they really have deep experience? So, you do want a certification from a respected coaching company. I think you really want somebody who's been in a leadership role that really understands it, that can relate to the client. The third thing, which actually is the first thing, is integrity.
Yes.
And when people talk to a coach, they want to talk to somebody that they trust implicitly, because my clients will tell me things that they would never say inside their organization, or to their boss, or to their peers or colleagues. And so the thing that goes with integrity is confidentiality.
Yes, indeed.
They got to know when they tell you something that it stays there. So here's kind of the thing I say to my clients. Look, man, everything you say to me stays here, but there's an exception to that. If you tell me you're going to kill your boss or yourself, then I've got to break that agreement.
Yes.
Because if somebody's safety is truly at risk, I've never had to do anything like that. But I just do feel the need to say that. People are under stress right now and feeling a lot of stress. So they want to know that they can trust me implicitly. And so at the end of coaching engagements, that's one of the two things that people generally tell me is, I really appreciated how you really listened to me, that you just weren't trying to lay stuff on me, that you really understood me, and that I could trust you completely. And so I guess those are the four things I would say is integrity, confidentiality, some leadership experience, that they know what the client's going through, and then some credentials. They're certified through a respected coaching agency.
Nice. Yeah, and I love the fact that you create this safe haven for them, right?
Absolutely.
If a person, us as individuals, as human beings, it's hard for us to express our true feelings without feeling safe. So safety is important. So I'm glad you focus on that.
Yeah, that safe space doesn't usually exist inside the company.
Yeah, I can see that. So Mark, give me about a 2 to 3 minute a success story, right? Because now I want to dive into not only your coaching style, but what you've done with your experience, your coaching. Tell me a success story. Like, let me live through you vicariously right now.
Yeah. So, one that comes to mind is I was coaching an executive vice president for $1 billion company who managed about $200 million of their business, really managed the international part of that company's business, U.S. headquartered, but it had pretty significant international operations. Smart guy, high integrity, knew the business really well. But he had one thing that kept tripping him up, and that was his needle was too sharp. And what I mean by that, when he would kid people, it was a little too sharp, that people didn't really appreciate it. Or when he gave feedback to people, it was kind of on the harsh side. It was not always constructive. And so the intent was good to give good feedback, but people had a hard time hearing it because it felt so personal. And so my coaching with him was, the first thing was to give him candid feedback.
Got it.
That, here's the feedback I'm hearing. And so that he heard it and embraced it. And so credit to him that he was willing to hear it and embrace it. And then we worked on strategies just to kind of mitigate that harshness. So the first thing I worked with him on was just cut out kidding people that are below you in rank, because of the rank that you're in, your words have power and meaning. And when you kid somebody below you, that stings a little bit because of your level. That's a big put down. So I just got him, just quit doing that. Even though you don't mean ill, just quit doing it. And so he got that message. And then we worked on just changing the tone of his feedback. I know your intentions are good in giving feedback, and they were, but you got to do it in a way that people can hear and embrace. So I just worked with him to soften the message. And don't give feedback just spontaneously. Give feedback that you've kind of sat down and thought about and have planned on how to deliver it. So they wasn't just winging it. So that was helpful to him. And then the third thing is, when you're in an executive meeting with the company CEO and COO and all of your EVP, executive VP peers, before you kind of say what you want to say, before you contribute what you want to contribute, just write down your bullets so that they come across in the way that you want them to come across,
Great
that
advice.
they're well thought out and that they're constructive. So those were kind of the three things we worked on. And did he get it right the first 2 weeks? No. Changing habits takes time.
Definitely
And
does.
so it took about 6 months for him to start getting feedback from that executive team that he worked with that said, you're contributing differently, and it's noticeable that it's much more constructive, it's much more positive, and much more meaningful that way. So it takes a little while. And so that was a big success story for me, that I worked with somebody who was coachable, to communicate in ways that people could hear and embrace. And so that was a fun engagement.
Yeah, that's great right there. I mean, I love the fact that you focus on also the EQ, right? The emotional intelligence.
That's exactly what it was.
And especially
the IQ is very high. It was the EQ. You are exactly right. It was the EQ that we were working on, creating more self-awareness in my client about how he's coming across to people, having more empathy for people. And so it wasn't just technically change how you're doing things. It was, do it from the heart, do it from the inside, and then the outside communications will be expressed more effectively.
Yeah, you know what? That's brilliant. And this is something you're great at. Even when I speak to you, outside of LinkedIn and Zoom, this comes to you second. It's like this is your second nature right here. This is so natural for you, and that's something I definitely appreciate.
I appreciate that. I think it does come naturally to me, but I think like a musician who might have some natural gifts, you got to hone those gifts too, right? You got to practice. And so I appreciate that feedback, but it's practice too.
Yes. Constant practice, right? That's how you become better as a coach, as a person, as a leader. So
absolutely,
just keep at it. So Mark, we wrapping things up right now. So if someone were to inquire about your services or just want to connect with you in general, where can they find you?
I think the first easiest place to start, Thomas, is LinkedIn.
Okay.
Just go to LinkedIn, Mark Hinderliter, PhD, and you'll find my smiling face. And that'll give you my contact information. It'll give you my website, my email address. So email address is Mark, M-A-R-K, at Third Way Inc., all spelled out, the word third, WAYINC.com. So Mark at thirdwayinc.com is the best way to get to me.
Okay. And Mark, are you currently receiving, are you currently accepting any more new clients?
I am, Thomas. Okay. I welcome clients that really want to improve their leadership, their culture, their place of work, or their leadership team. I really enjoy working with people who come to the table really eager to kind of take their game or their team's game to another level.
Nice. That's great right there. So thank you, Mark, for coming on as my first guest on the How May I Serve You, podcast. It's the first time I'm doing anything like this, and thank you for being the first guest. And also thank you everyone for tuning in, right, and listen to today's show. If you enjoyed today's episode, please feel free to share it with someone else that might benefit from this. All right. And also, if you need any type of wellness support, feel free to reach out to my team at info@getupandgetfit@gmail.com. All right. Or just getupandgetfit.com. Okay. So, Mark, once again, it's been a pleasure.
My pleasure.
And last but not least, how may I serve you?
Just doing this, Thomas, was a great way to serve me, and I hope we served each other. So, by the way, I love kind of how may I serve you, because when we have that servant mindset, we become client magnets. Yes, when we're all about ourselves, people figure that out. So I love the title of your podcast.
Thank you, man. Thank you. And I mean, I live with my heart, my sleeve. As you already know, I'm very passionate about serving others. I feel this level of thrill when I'm in that space. So that's forever my mission right there.
Well, stay in your zone, brother.
Likewise. Take care, Mark.